Kancho, can you talk to us about vegetarianism and about what made you go vegetarian? I think there's a big following now of people going back to vegetables and vegetarianism. You've been a vegetarian for a long time. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Right. I started, when I was young, we ate everything. About 32 years ago, I decided to give up meat. I just had a feeling that I should stop eating meat. And the reason why I did it is it's not for a religious reason. The main reason is I don't like taking life. So as I explained earlier, in the dojo, if you see an insect, we take it outside. We don't want to kill it. So I became a vegetarian because I don't like taking life. And, I think it's only my opinion anyway. If we eating, we eat the lowest form of life, which is plant.
Kancho, do you want to read out one of the poems that you've got from
Poems of the Spiritual Heart?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. We just spoke about love, so I'll read you a poem that I've written about love. Love is being and is in everything. Love is kind and easy to find. Love is fair, we are spiritually aware. Love is like the smell of roses. It is the embodiment of bliss, joy and happiness. Love is not a fashion and is beyond lower passion. Love is true, beyond just a relationship for only a few. Love is joy for man, for woman, girl or boy. Love is bliss we should not miss. Love is right and no need to fight. Love is our innermost feeling, which at times sends our heart reeling. Love is our eternal wealth, our only riches. It causes no stress, no anxiety, no worry. Love should be treasured, not measured. Love, the only thing we own that we can truly say is ours.
Fantastic. Thank you, Kancho. Thank you. Kancho, so one of your visions is Sanctuary 108. Can you tell the guys who are looking at this what that's about, what type of support you need on that, and who it will help?
Yeah, I have a great concern for people that go through depression. They say about 300 people a day go through depression. Every 2 hours, somebody's taking their life. The stats are very high in regards to that. Too many people are dying. Too many people are suffering. The government can provide services, but is it enough? We have beautiful organizations like Beyond Blue, Black Dog, and many others. But it's still not enough for the number of people that go through that. And I'm 64 years old now, and if I live to 80, it means I've got 16 years on the planet. And I thought, what can I do for the rest of my life to help people? And I thought, because depression is something that I went through as a young boy, and a lot of people go through that, I thought, let me do something to help make a difference in their lives. When you are physically hurt, you can see the injury and you can heal it. When you go through depression, it affects the mind. You can't see an injury, but the person that's suffering that is really going through a lot of trauma. So I thought very deeply about this, and I thought, I want to make a difference. If I can save one life, or 10 lives, or 20 lives, I've helped humanity. So I'm going to carry those memories of what I did to bring change. We don't take our money with us when we pass from this planet. We don't even take our bodies with us. But we do take our memories. We do take all the good things that we've done. So I believe that for the rest of my life, I want to do something to help people with depression. So we've created Sanctuary 108. Sanctuary is a place where people can come and be part of and feel rested and join a group. The 108 is the number that we chose because 108 represents the highest spiritual number. 108 is also a number for the highest kata in our system. It's called Super Rempe, so 108 means Super Rempe. Now, my feeling is that we need to work now and work fast. So we've started a charitable organization, and the funds that we make out of Goshinkan, selling products, audiobooks, physical books, tapes on meditation and so on and so forth, are all going towards building this place. Building a place where people can feel free to be able to talk to consultants, to talk to clinical psychologists. We have all these people in place now that are ready to assist us. So our goal is not to go around asking for money. Our goal is to sell products, to be able to get the kind of funds we need to build the service. But of course, if people do donate money towards us, we will accept it.
Fantastic. How much are we looking to raise, Kancho?
Well, I would say quite a bit of money because it's a big project. I can't really give you an estimation at the moment, but I do say this, that we have in sight already land where we're going to be building, but the building structure itself is going to be designed by top architects. We have in place people that are ready to design Sanctuary 108. We have in place people that are going to be volunteering to do a lot of work. So all it takes now is putting the building together. So we are also selling bricks. We have a bronze brick, a silver brick, a gold brick. We also have cubes and panels that people can buy and have their names on. So that will be there forever. You know, you can put it as a family crest or your family name or your personal name or your personal business or whatever it is, and that will stay for generations to come. So we want to give something back to the community. We don't want to just take their money. We want to give them something in return, something as a memory, or they can buy products from us. You know, it's like an exchange of a product for money, and the money is going to be used to build this place that's going to help many, many hundreds of people.
Kancho, can you tell us what fitness training was like about when you started martial arts and when you started your dojo in South Africa all those many years ago? Because we're seeing a bit of a craze right now with all these, I guess, different fads like your CrossFit, your different diets. What was it like back before, I guess, health and wellness was such a big part of everyone's day?
Well, karate was tough in those days, you know. It was, training was tough. Life was tough. You know, nothing was easy. You know, life was a struggle. You know, I'll give you a simple example. We used to work on the farm. And, you know, the vegetables used to be loaded onto a cart, pulled by a horse. And we used to take it to the market, sell the produce, and come back. You know, as strange as it may sound, everything was a struggle. In order to become a yellow belt, for instance, we had to work as hard as a black belt does today. Life is changing. People are not training as hard as they once did. If I train my students the way I trained, I think many would leave. It was too difficult. The training of those times for using this time in this modern day, it won't be a very healthy option because people won't be there to train. People are put off by weather. They don't want to go to training because it's raining. They don't want to go to training, it's too hot. We never understood that when we were young. Come rain, sunshine, hail, we were there training. I remember the time Gogen Sensei took us to the mountain and we had to stand under a waterfall in the middle of winter, take our tops off and do sanshin kata. You know, freezing cold. How many modern students can do that?
What temperature would that have been, Kancho?
You know, Japan in winter, in the middle of winter, is extremely cold. I can't really give you a figure because I don't really know about the temperatures at those times or what Japan goes through in the middle of winter. But I know it was pretty cold. You know, who could think about doing 300 push-ups in one go? You know, in the old days, you did something wrong, you'd be punished. You'd be hit with a shinai. You'd be down doing push-ups. You know, I remember the one time we were being trained by a teacher that was getting annoyed with his class because they couldn't pick up anything. And I was one of the students there. He punished us. Ray Ryan. He's the Budokan head teacher. He punished us on the floor. We did 300 push-ups. 300 push-ups. My friend Roderick Abrams slipped on the very last push-up on his sweat. He had to do another 10. You know, how many people would have gone back the next day for training after that? The modern karate person wouldn't. Very few people would. It was tough. But we stuck through it, and it paid off.
Can you tell us what the sparring was like, Kancho?
You know, you touch somebody a little too hard, they want to give up. In the old days, we got bruised. We fought to survive. We knew karate was there as an instrument to help us protect ourselves. So the sparring was really heavy. And of course, you know, the lifestyle. The lifestyle that we led, you know, I was a tradesman in those days, I was a bricklayer. So we worked fairly hard. And we had to mix the mortar by hand. using a shovel. So we were pretty tough and pretty strong. So karate was tough, and we could handle that. Today we have machines mixing the mortar. So you don't have that kind of person in this modern day. Things are getting easier. So training has to get easier. We can't have that same type of intensity in practice.
Was there gyms back when you trained, like your weight training gym? Weight training, yeah.
Of course, there was weight training, but today everything is modernized. You never had the type of machinery you have today with weight training. Of course, people are smarter in terms of training now. In the old days, it was brute force. It was brute force, and very little education about right techniques and wrong techniques. Today, they will tell you, that's a wrong way of lifting, or this is the right way of lifting, and so on and so forth.
Did you do much weight training?
No, I didn't. I did very little. My main thing was swimming. I love swimming. I did a lot of swimming, so I got a lot of strength out of swimming. And of course, push-ups, sit-ups, and squats, and everything else.
So it sounded like it was very intense training, but very simple exercises repeatedly done.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you can call it simple exercises. We used to bunny hop in Japan, up the stairs, across the platform, across the bridge at a train station, and bunny hop down. Today people bunny hop, they got serious knee problems. Why have they got knee problems? It's the kind of foods that we're eating. I think, this is my personal view, the foods that we're eating, the type of lifestyle that we lead, the bodies are not strong enough to cope with all of those things. But in the old days, we used to bunny hop often, duck walk, do really heavy stuff, where the knees were impacted, the hips were impacted. But today, of course, we can't do that kind of practice.
Do you think that today, with all the science and studies behind a lot of activities, do you think people can train smarter and not so hard and get similar results? Or do you still think that you need to really do just as hard as the old days to kind of get the same results?
I don't know about the exercises today. If people are training, the muscles build up. When they stop training, the muscles disappear. In the old days, we worked hard. I worked hard in the building industry, lifting daily. Our muscles didn't disappear. Even when we trained, it actually helped us to develop more power. But to me, it's strange that you practice, you build up your muscles, and if you're not training for a week, it's gone.
So you're saying that's what you're seeing a lot more of these days?
I see a lot of that.
Yeah.
I see a lot that people say, I look at young people today with terrific bodies. They look very strong. And I haven't seen them for a while, and I see that they're not so strong anymore. What happened? Oh, I haven't been training for a while. It's like the muscles melt away.
No, interesting. How do you think, obviously now there's a gym on every corner. Right. There's martial arts in every corner as well. Yeah. Do you see that as a good thing? Do you see that as that a lot of, or do you see that as there's a lack of quality? Just your opinion on, I guess, the amount of gyms and fitness, different types of fitness you could do out there these days.
Well, I think a lot of people are spending a lot of their life in offices and so on. They need to be training.
Right.
One needs to be training. One needs to be exercising. If you want a longer life, you have to be exercising. It's when you are stagnant that you're going to start having body ailments. There's going to be acid buildup in your joints. So it's very important that you exercise. And I think it's a wonderful thing that there are gyms out there that people can train. Well, I've had Sensei Kresant talking to me today. He's been a student of mine for a very long time. Prior to Australia, he started training with me in South Africa and has been with me for a long, long time. He's of exemplary quality, a very nice person, highly talented in terms of martial arts. He's very picky in terms of technique. He likes to master whatever he does. His kata is terrific to watch. His kumite is fine. And I think if people, young people, can follow his example of being an ideal person, I think they will go a long way. Not only is his physical ability in karate, but his mannerisms, the way he respects people. You know, it's always with kindness. It's always with love. He's motivated by goodness. So whatever he tries to talk about or to promote, he does it with the best of intentions. So I would say he's one of my finest students and an absolutely terrific young person.
Kancho, so you've been doing martial arts for how many years?
Many decades.
Many decades. And could you tell us some of your influences, the teachers that have influenced you the most and continue to influence you?
Yeah, there were many, many great teachers, you know. We're looking at Yushiba Sensei, Chojin Miyagi Sensei, Gogen Yamaguchi Sensei, Kanazawa Sensei, Nakayama Sensei, all great teachers. All great teachers. As a matter of fact, even my close friend, Kinshu Watanabe Sensei, you know, brilliant minds, brilliant martial arts people. And they had something special. They had something special. They had love. You know, Gichin Funakoshi Sensei, for instance, hated bad language. He won't even use a negative word. I've heard stories about him where people have tried to get him to use negative language. He wouldn't use it because he wanted to keep it clean. He wanted to keep his vocabulary clean. You know, Ueshiba Sensei, master of Aikido, great ability, you know, highly developed spiritual being, had such an impact on many, many martial arts people throughout the world. These were wonderful teachers, and I look to them. They are my mentors. They may not be alive today, but I certainly read up on them, and I pay attention to people that have followed them. Those were wonderful teachers that have impacted my life.
Usually in the dojo, Kancho, you always talk about Sakamoto Shihan. Can you tell us about your friendship with him and I guess some of the good times that you had with him in Japan and elsewhere?
Yeah, I had two Sakamoto Senseis. One was NTV Sakamoto Sensei, and the other was Kihei Sakamoto Shihan. Kihei Sakamoto Shihan was a fighter. You know, he was an extremely talented kumite practitioner, and of course kata as well. You know, the first time I sparred with him, I was, shocked. I was shocked. I couldn't believe that this man was so fast. You know, he was quick. He was, I would punch and kick, he would be behind me. I used to wonder how did he get behind me so quickly? And I was a fairly confident guy. Prior to going to Japan, I thought, I had a good idea about martial arts. I used it to protect myself in South Africa. But when I faced Sakamoto Sensei, it was a different ballgame. This man knew the art. And so I used to practice with him. I remember the first time when I sparred with him. We had the first class, and he would spar with everybody. And just before, he came to me and he said to me, I'll spar you next time. And that was an hour after that, because I had to go out for dinner. I couldn't even eat. I was thinking, wow, I've got to be facing this man on the floor. Anyway, after dinner, I had to face him. And he just toyed with me. He was such an incredible martial artist. But he was a gentleman as well. He wouldn't hurt you. He wouldn't smash you and hurt you and terrorize you. So he was a real gentle person on the floor, but yet an incredible fighter. So I imitated him. I watched him. I sparred like him. And of course, I grew up learning his way of sparring.
And you mentioned another Sakamoto.
Oh, NTV Sakamoto Sensei was a technician, a great technician. And, he had a great understanding about techniques and how it should be applied. So, I look at other teachers in the Goju-Kai system. Goshi Shian is also an incredible and highly talented martial artist. And I marvel at the way he practices and his karate. But of course he's changed it now, and he's modernized it, and for the purposes of tournament, which I don't practice. And kata has been streamlined for this, they call it stai kata for the purposes of tournament. Of course I don't practice that at all. I keep all my katas very traditional, the way I learnt it in Japan. So it's very different to what you see in the modern karate.
Yeah. In saying that, what are your, can you give us your, thoughts on traditional training and what that means to you? Because I know you feel strongly about traditional martial arts and the body, mind, spirit connection in everything traditional.
Yeah. Traditional karate is about respect. A lot of people claim to do traditional martial arts, and they're practicing tournaments. How can it be tournaments and traditional? Doesn't make any sense to me. In the time of Miyagi Sensei, there was no tournaments. Tournaments was created recently. Recently, Gogen Sensei and a few people got together and they created tournaments. Okinawa didn't understand or know or have anything to do with tournaments. So I practice the old way. I don't do tournaments in my dojo. We practice old traditional ways. We have the traditional ways of bowing, of showing respect, and I keep it as close as I can to the way I learned karate in Japan.
Gotcha. When you say that, I know you recently talked about how that the training isn't as hard as it was 20 years ago because our bodies have changed. When you say as close to, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, close to in terms of training methods, but not as hard as I practiced it. Instead of 500 punches, we do 50 punches.
Right.
So I had to cut down. We do the same things. I mean, the things that we train in today, people have not heard about those things. For instance, I've created a manual here from white belt to black belt. The things in this manual 99.9% of the things in this manual people have not heard of. We do the old traditional system. Goshinkan has 29 systems of training.
And when you say systems, what do you mean, Kancho?
Yeah, like, for instance, you have kata, you have kumite, you have ido, you have gokeki, you have taibetsu. So we have lots and lots of different systems of practice. We do groundwork, we do grappling, we do throwing, we do break falls. It's all part of karate. It's not separate from karate. So Goshinkan practices 29 systems of training.
And you learnt much of this from Gogen Sensei as well.
Gogen Sensei was the principal teacher.
Yeah.
He taught me. I was his personal student. But we had other teachers. We had teachers from Okinawa. We had teachers from different styles of karate. We had Shotokan, Shitorio, Okinawan Goju, we had weapons training. Okinawan masters would train us in weapons. And of course I had prior to me going to Japan, I learned Shukakai as well as Budorio. So all that assisted me in terms of development. So what I've done was I've used a lot of the training methods and implemented into Goshinkan. So we do traditional Goju, but we also use methods of other systems. So I use the methods, but I use the tradition of Goju-kai.
Okay. Now a lot of people talk about different styles. Now you've chosen Goju-ryu. Can you tell us the strength of Goju-ryu and I guess what you love most about Goju-ryu karate?
To me, people are prejudiced and biased. Everybody likes their own systems. I love Goju-kai because to me it's a holistic method of training. The blocks are circular. The attacks are straight. The attacks are round. We have taisabaki. We have different types of movement. I don't see that in modern karate. Most karate is linear, forward and back. Goju-kai is circular. Where you learn taisabaki, moving away from the attack. I think karate has been streamlined in order to satisfy people doing tournaments. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying tournaments are bad. Don't do it. Each to their own. People can do tournaments if they want to do it. People can choose to do traditional karate. I see the benefit of traditional karate, so I chose to do that. And my students follow what I teach. They can always leave and join another school. They choose to stay with me because they feel the benefits of whatever they're learning. I talk to my students at the end of each class. I talk to them about values. I talk to them about righteous conduct. I talk to them about ethical behavior. I talk to them about their roles in life, whatever roles they're playing in their life, that they have to be the best they can be. I do not see my students as some is better and some is worse. To me, all my students are the same. As long as they're making an effort to do well, that's all that's important.
For other karateka and other martial arts watching this, what would you tell them is the best way to kind of practice and hone their skills? Is there any type of particular things that you did? Was it just daily practice? How many hours did you train? And I guess how has that changed for you over the years? Earlier days, was it a lot harder physical, and then now it's more technical? I guess just a little bit of a commentary on that.
Well, you can practice karate all your life and not master it.
Yeah,
You can practice it for 5 years and master it,
right.
right? It's how you practice. It's not what you practice, it's how you practice. You can practice, for instance, maigiri, for instance, a front kick, right? You can do 1,000 kicks and yet not have the effect to knock somebody down. But you can practice correctly by listening to what the teacher has to share with you and using all your time to study what is going to give you power in that technique, right? What are the things you need to do to get maximum power out of that technique? It's not just throwing a kick, it's about how you deliver that kick.
Yeah.
What will give you the most amount of power? So correct practice is the most important. So you can master karate in a short time, or you can take a lifetime and practice it or not master it.
What should students look for when they just say they want to get started in martial arts? What should they look for in a teacher? What should they look for in a dojo? Because I guess a lot of people, they see a lot of marketing and they see a lot of hype out there. Are there any valuable tips that you could say, this is what someone should look for when they walk into a gym, walk into a dojo? What should they ask a teacher, for instance?
It depends what is going to give them satisfaction.
Mm-hmm.
You can have fast food when you're hungry.
Yeah.
Right? It's how hungry you are. What do you want to have to nourish you? If you just want to satisfy hunger, you eat something. You stop in a fast food place and you eat something. It doesn't nourish you, it satisfies your hunger.
Yeah.
But if you really want nourishment, you have to eat good food. It's the same thing with karate. If you really want to learn the art of karate, the true aspects of karate, then you have to look for a good teacher.
Right.
You can, probably every corner has a karate teacher that you can go and practice. But can that teacher deliver those things that will make you a better person, that will make you a better karate person, that will teach you techniques that work? Karate is for defense. You practice karate so that you can protect yourself. Protect yourself against people that want to harm you. If your karate doesn't work for you in a serious situation, that means your practice has been all wrong. It means that you've been trained incorrectly. So I believe that if you really want to practice the art so it protects you, you have to seek out a teacher. And there are a few teachers that are really good.
Thank you, Kancho.